And I grew up by the AWA, but I got the magazines, I read Pro Wrestling Illustrated, and I followed Mid-Atlantic Wrestling. I read about the Johnny Weavers and the Ric Flairs and the Rick Steamboats. And see, I already knew I was going to be a wrestler. But when I read about this area here, the Carolinas, I realized someday I'm going to own all that. I'm headed down south, and I'm going to control everything down there. They'll be chanting my name and my name only. A couple of decades later, I finally made it down here, and I didn't know much about Mid-Atlantic 2006. I know you folks like to marry your cousins. Exhibit A. The only other thing I knew was Gemini Kid. Everyone kept telling me, for the last couple decades, you want to get to the top in Mid-Atlantic, you got to go through the Gemini Kid. And I was all hyped about coming down here and climbing that mountain. All I heard, he's so great, Gemini. Well, I've been here a year and a half and I haven't seen it. I've seen a broken down old man. On a few occasions I've seen him in the ring. I've seen him get his you-know-what handed to him by the likes of Michael McAllister. I haven't seen the respect I expected to see. I hear the boys in the back snigger and say, Geritol Kid. See, the truth is this, Gemini Kid, you're not a kid anymore. And this sport in 2006 doesn't have any more use for you than it does for Johnny Weaver. Tonight I'm going to do what I knew I was going to do 20 years ago. I'm taking over the Mid-Atlantic area, winning the Weaver Cup, and ushering in a new era, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling, Milwaukee style.
We have reached the semifinals of the prestigious 2006 Johnny Weaver Cup tournament, and I think this could be the best pure wrestling match of the entire tournament so far, possibly in the entire 3-year history of the tournament.
Well, I mean, it started off with a dance by Mitch Connor, the Gemini Kid, the veteran, the trainer here at CWF Mid-Atlantic.
I think a lot of times Mitch Connor doesn't truly utilize the scientific ability that he has because he's been teaming with Gary Stevens so much, and that's such an unusual combination anyway. Any form of scientific wrestling pretty much just got thrown out the window. But in a matchup like the Gemini Kid, I think Mitch Connor actually, I don't think he can out-wrestle Gemini Kid, but I think he has as good of a chance as anyone at it.
Well, yeah, you're talking about how the techniques are done, you know, how you learn this sport. Talk to Mitch Connor sometime. Ask him the name of any particular move that he uses, and it sounds like something a school kid would make up.
Yeah, Mitch Connor does have an unusual array of names, whether it be the Milwaukee Vice, the MC Hammer, or take your pick.
Or the karate thing.
Yeah, the bow to your sensei.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mitch Connor looked like he's trying to get fired up here. He's got the wrist of Gemini, still working him over. Gemini looking for an opening here, trying to find a place to reverse, and he does.
Mitch Connor, a former Mid-Atlantic television champion, of course now a former Mid-Atlantic tag team champion. He's one step away from a triple crown, and while he may not be competing for the heavyweight title tonight, I'd say the Weaver Cup trophy would be a pretty good triple crown on the resume.
Well, it definitely looked good. It would get you in the eyes of a lot of other areas throughout the AWA. But right now, Connor working, cranking on the head of Gemini Kid as he lips off to the crowd. You know, this is something else we keep seeing more and more.
I'm sure Mitch Connor wants to show off a little bit more tonight than even normal because Johnny Weaver is just on the other side of the curtain watching and evaluating each and every match in this entire tournament.
And you know, Johnny Weaver in the past, you know, the 2005 Weaver Cup final, he actually became involved after the bout. And I mean, Connor's got to be thinking about that too. He's not going to be able to pull too much knowing Weaver's watching from backstage.
Series of hip toss, arm arm drag by Gemini Kid, going right back to work on the left arm of Mitch Connor, and I wonder if Gemini Kid has found his spot to go to town on.
I tell you what, right now, Mitch Connor flat in the back, in the middle of the AWA logo in the center of the ring. That's not where he wants to be. He needs to be on his feet. Big stiff uppercut to the midsection, rolls with a big fireman carry up and over. Gemini is down. He's reversed his fortunes here.
Of course, Gemini Kid is a 20-plus year veteran at the squared circle, trained by some of the greats like the Kernodals, Nelson Royal. Gemini Kid, he's never held the heavyweight title. He's been a former tag team champion. He certainly had his fair share of success from time and again, but without question, the Johnny Weaver Cup would be easily the biggest prize in the entire career of the Gemini Kid.
You know, that's the first time in the 5+ years we've been doing these telecasts that we've actually able to bring up the name of the late great that taught Gemini. I mean, it goes back so much. I mean, known throughout the Carolinas, throughout the world as a light heavyweight champion. Nelson Royal has trained so many of the greats.
Well, on the other end of the spectrum, Mitch Connor just completely disrespected Gemini Kid by throwing that water ball at him. And Gemini Kid, he got the blood boiling all right. Now a slugfest. Throw the wrestling out the window because it's a fight now between Mitch Connor and Gemini Kid.
Oh my goodness, Kid gets rammed straight back first into that unforgiving steel ring post. Boot to the back by Connor. Now Connor's going to roll in and break the referee's count.
Charles Richardson tried to get everyone back in line here. Mitch Connor back in the ring, but you know, that may have been smart wrestling on the behalf of Mitch Connor. He was being out-wrestled inside the ring by Gemini Kid. He took the contest outside the ring, and that's where Mitch Connor began his advantage.
Yeah, Mitch Connor showing off with a few karate moves, but I mean, they're not making contact. It's more for show, I'm sure. But I mean, look at this. He's got Gemini face first into the apron. I thought he was going to drive him back into the ring. Finally rolls Gemini back into the ring, which may be a mistake on his part.
Yeah, but he's finally got Gemini Kid incapacitated to some degree at least. Now, if Mitch Connor can follow up at it all, Mitch Connor could be looking at a spot in the finals.
And that's right. Mitch Connor dropping the elbow to the back of the neck of Gemini Kid. Rolls him up and over into a pinning predicament. Gemini able to kick out on a 2 count, and Connor's complaining to the referee.
Well, Mitch Connor has absolutely nothing to complain about there. That's our senior official, Charles Richardson. He may not always be right on top of things, but he certainly was with that particular count.
Yeah, smiling Charles Richardson, our senior official. He's looking on as Gemini Kid's getting a complimentary chiropractic adjustment courtesy of handsome Mitch Connor Chiropractic Center in Burlington, North Carolina.
Vice-like grip around the head and the neck of Gemini Kid trying to wrench away, but see Gemini positioning those arms, and just like that takes Mitch Connor down onto his stomach, and now STF! He's going for the STF! We can have a tap out right here, Randolph!
Oh my goodness, Connor did not see that coming. He's struggling for the ropes. I'm not sure he's going to make it. Pulling himself over by his elbows, and Gemini just keeps cranking away.
The simplest of reversals puts Mitch Connor in a very precarious position to which he may have no choice but to tap out if he can't reach the ropes.
See what, he's inches away from the ropes right now. Finally able to get his hands on Gemini Kid. He probably worked the 4 count on this one. No, he broke out one on the 1.
Mitch Connor just saved himself. You know, when Gemini Kid applied that hold, he was pretty close to the ropes. But what brilliant wrestling by Gemini Kid.
Gemini Kid once again in control. Connor begging off down on the canvas. Elbow to the instep there. That is going to leave a mark and take away from the mobility of Connor for later on in this match.
Gemini Kid has recovered from the miniature onslaught that Mitch Connor put him under. And now Gemini Kid going to work on the left leg of Mitch Connor this time.
That's right. Gemini's trying to fight and keep this one on top. And look at this. Thumb to the eye by Connor, the savior for some of these wrestlers. It's just disheartening. I wish there was some way you could shield yourself against that, but, I mean, this is wrestling. You can't.
Well, it would certainly be at least nice to have some kind of cutoff where after, say, 3 eye pokes, it is an automatic disqualification. But, of course, there's a lot of political avenues that need to be undergone to even try to institute something like that.
That's right. Look at this. We're back, both men back down to a sitting position. Gemini trying to fight his way out of this. I'm not sure exactly what Connor is doing here, but he's got Gemini tied up down here on the canvas.
Well, it's almost like a sitting version of this Milwaukee Vice, the way he has the arms and hands locked there, but Gemini Kid fighting it, not letting Mitch Connor completely intertwine the fingers, and now Gemini Kid simply goes right back to the leg.
That's right, Mitch Connor is down. I mean, referee's down for a count. Both shoulder blades are down. And here we go, another eye poke. It's tragic. I wish there was some way we could do away with that. I mean, we've already seen a lot of wrestling in this match. I would love to see this remain a wrestling match.
Now, Mitch Connor, I have to give it to him for trying to wrestle one-on-one with Gemini in the early going. He tried it, and like so many have done in the past, he failed because you simply can't out-wrestle the Gemini Kid.
And Gemini Kid trying to make his way back to his feet. Connor smartly not letting him up.
Yeah, but the wincing in pain now, limping around. The simple maneuvers of the Gemini Kid have taken a lot of toll on the body of a very handsome man.
And Connor is down. Gemini first back up to his feet. But then it's Connor with a big overhand. Connects again with a forearm and a chop. Gemini on rubber legs again.
Mitch Connor unloading on Gemini Kid, but now Gemini Kid can fight now.
Gemini Kid needs to get fired up here because he's taking a beating back to the corner. And look at this, Connor's going to try to wrestle again.
Snap suplex by Mitch Connor, taking Gemini Kid down center of the ring, but Mitch Connor unable to follow up on it, going right back to the leg.
Yeah, Connor's got some kind of damage done to that knee, but he's over for the cover. Hooks the leg, referee's down only a 2 count. And Connor is in so much pain, he's not even arguing with Richardson.
Gemini Kid slowly getting up himself. Mitch Connor meeting him, series of elbows across the back of the head and neck.
Oh my goodness, big shot to the face. He backs Gemini into the corner. Another shot straight to the face. And a third, I mean, for good measure. Connor's setting him up, slings him across the ropes, and here he comes.
Oh, there it was. That was the MC Hammer right there, Randolph.
Oh my goodness, shades of Manny Fernandez. I know I've seen that somewhere before, but I don't see how we get an 80s disco phenom's name attached to it.
Making the cover and only a 2 count.
And I tell you what, Connor needs to change up here. He's got Gemini Kid reeling. He could be going into the final here, but Gemini not giving up. I mean, he's back on his feet again and absorbing the punishment, it looks like.
You stuck me with the visual now of MC Hammer doing disco. No one home for the MC Hammer this time, but Gemini Kid unloads with a roaring elbow of his own.
That came out of nowhere. Connor didn't see it coming. It was just like a shot out of nowhere. He is down, barely able to kick out before the 3 count.
That roaring elbow a la Mitsuharu Misawa, and Mitch Connor driving the top of his skull into the jaw of Gemini.
Are you doing tongue twisters over there? What did you just say?
Gemini Kid loves all forms of professional wrestling, including the Puro style in Japan. He's administered the Tiger Driver so many times, but now the King Cobra on Mitch Connor. King Cobra, Gemini Kid reaching back with the King Cobra, reverses all the way around, and Mitch Connor is going to have no choice but to tap out.
Connor taps, this one's over. Gemini Kid goes to the finals.
Gemini Kid, 20-year-plus veteran, battle-worn body and all, will advance to the finals of the 2006 Weaver Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen,